Merry meet, everybody, and welcome to another Willow's Witchy Den with myself, Willow, and my beautiful co-host and Sister Drew. So tonight is going to be a really interesting show. So we will get into that in a minute. But first, we'll just give ourselves a little bit of an introduction. I normally throw Sister in and get her to go in first. I'll do it myself today. So I'll introduce myself first, then I'll give Sister the chance to get herself together as well. And then we'll get on with the show. So for anyone that is new and coming to the show, I am Willow, spiritually known, and my real name is Sherry. I am from PWI Spiritual Investigators. I am an investigator, I am a witch, and I am a training and practicing Celtic Druid shaman. I'm into all things of the strange and unknown. I'm into educating and bringing you guys lots of amazing content along with my sister and all of the other people that I'm involved with. So I hope that you do enjoy the show, guys, and I hope that you find it interesting. And over to me, lovely sister.
Hello everybody, my name is Drew and my witchy name is Athena. I am a paranormal educator and a spiritual advisor. I'm also, like sister, a training shaman. I'll run my channel with a little bit of paranormal vlogs, some Scottish scenery and things, and I do a little bit of witchcraft over there as well, but mostly for support and things. I go live, do tarot readings, but yeah, definitely love these shows, so come along for the journey.
Most definitely come along for the journey. Lots of jam-packed shows, lots of really amazing shows that come up on the channel. But I do really love this show because it's a time where we can get together and talk to you about witchy stuff. We can give you really cool stories, which we're going to be doing tonight. So obviously, tonight's show is on Alice Kyteler. She is an Irish witch from the 1400s. She was the first registered witch to actually be put forward for being executed for witchcraft. Now, there's a weird story behind it because some people say that she was killed and her life was ended, and others actually turn around and say that she actually fled her country to another place that may have been in England or another part of our area. So, and a lady that worked for her, because she was a dame, she was very wealthy. She had 4 husbands that mysteriously died from really screwed up illnesses. The last husband, um, I think he did die in the end, but he had started losing his fingernails, his hair started falling out, his hair coming off of his back and off his arms and stuff. And they'd noticed that he'd been poisoned. And this lady was very notoriously known for doing witchy stuff. And apparently she was a very attractive and beautiful woman as well. So she very much was able to lure her men in. So I thought that I would share this story with you because being witches and everything, guys, we feel really strongly about life's being ended because of that practice. In this case, I'm a bit on the fence. Is she really bad? Is she not? Is not everything been revealed, but it is a very interesting story, and it was something that me and my co-producer was helping me to do. He said about, well, why don't you do something on witches this week? And I was like, yeah, what are you thinking? And he'd found this story stuff on her. Now, I'd heard her name before, but I wasn't really that aware of who she was. I knew she was a witch. She was in Ireland, but I wasn't really sure of what her background was or anything like that. So I think it's a really interesting story. So I'm going to read what we've got, and I'll stop in between bits, and we'll have a little discussion what we think and talk about our views and what we're thinking about it. And then at the end, we'll just have a little chit chat, guys, and see how everyone's doing and take questions, whatever you want to do, guys. So I'm just gonna get this show up and sorted. And it's Sister Drew. Feel welcome to talk in at any time if there's anything you're wanting to understand a
I'm
little bit
just
more
intrigued to
about.
hear the story. As with you, I think I've heard the name, but I'm not familiar with the story. So it'll be interesting to hear. I love these type of things.
So obviously, Alice Kyteler was an Irish dame. She was a wealthy woman, and she is associated with the Kyteler's Inn, which is still around today in Ireland and can be visited, and has very much been brought out in the scene to her story and her way. And there are actually festivals and things that they do to celebrate her life as well. So I think there are, like myself, people that are a bit about the stories. But let's start this in. One of the first witchcraft trials in Ireland involved a woman named Dame Alice Kyteler. Her case involved the first recorded claim of witchering, having intercourse with demons for over 700 years. Her story has fascinated historians. Was she truly a witch, or was she a victim brought up on trumped up charges by a jealous and envious stepchildren? Somewhere in the mouldy pages of an ancient tomb in a dusty library lies the true answers. Witch hunting was a big business in the medieval Europe. It is estimated that some 100,000 men and women were executed on suspicion of witchcraft during this period, and laws against witchcraft remained on the books as late as the 19th century. In Ireland, however, there was still people who had followed the old ways, blending the ancient Celtic religion with Christianity. There was very few witch hunts, so the trials of Dame Alice Kyteler sent shockwaves through the community. So obviously with that bit, so as it was saying, it was very known for like in parts of the world for the witch trials to start up. People were trying to hunt down witches. They were trying to execute. They'd got 100,000 women and men executed for witchcraft. But in Ireland, it wasn't so known, and it was more hush hush. So when it came to Ireland and Alice was put up for witchcraft, and the decision that was made on her, it did send a shockwave through her country because it wasn't really something that was really heard of or known. Were people aware of
Plus,
her
they're
ways
really
there?
religious.
I do believe so. And I do
Yeah.
believe there were things that she helped certain people with, but there's mixed vibes and stories on who she is and what she was like. Some say that she wasn't nasty. Some of them say that she was, that she wasn't a nice person. She was very manipulative. She loved money. Money was her aim. So, and her and her son went into business as money launderers as well. So let's get into this so you can understand a bit more about her.
Yeah.
Dame Alice Kyteler was a wealthy woman of Anglo-Norman descent, whose family had settled in Kilkenny in the 12th century. Her father was a banker, and Alice prospered in her own right in the general male pursuit of money lending. Her first husband was William Outlaw Lawn of Kentucky, a banker who was 20 years older than his bride when they married. In 1299, she bore a son that they named William Jr. Dame lived in a beautiful house in the middle of the town, and her increasing prosperity made her the subject of envy by the citizens of Kilkenny. Soon after her son's birth, she decided to build an addition to the house, which she opened as an inn. The inn was a huge success and soon became a meeting place for wealthy men who vied for the attention of the alluring Dame Alice. She was, by all accounts, an attractive woman who could manipulate men into lavishing gifts of money and jewels to her. She soon gathered around her a group of comely young women to help her run the inn, which was the business in Kilkenny. So obviously she went into marrying William. She had her son. She opened the inn, which is still parts of it is actually still part of the pub that is open today. It is all where she lived and where she resided. She had a beautiful home as well. She had a really good life, but from how it's all being explained is she was never quite happy. She was always
Right.
happy in the attention of other men. She liked money, she liked gifts. It seemed very much that she was the type of lady that wanted to have everything and expected to get everything, and by the sounds
Yeah.
of it did. So
Probably.
3 years after their marriage, William Outlaw died suddenly under mysterious circumstances in 1302. Alice was accused of murdering him with a complicity of the man who became her second husband, Adam Le Blund of Callan. 8 years after her first marriage, Lee Blund died after a drinking spree, and Alice was once again a widow. Both husbands conveniently left wills that provided her with everything. Husband number three was a landowner named Richard D. Vell, who soon met his maker one night after eating a sumptuous supper. Like husband one and two, he left his entire estate to Alice, making her one of the wealthiest people in Kilkenny. And if the gossip was to be believed, sorry, I'm losing my way in here at a minute. If the gossip was to be believed, the most wicked, only the church was wealthier. Still only in her 40s, Alice soon married her fourth husband, a frequent customer at the inn, named Sir John Le Pure. Sir John was well connected. His brother Arnold was the censorical of Kilkenny. Tongues wagged about her abilities to outlive her husbands, and her knack for financial gain made people wonder, how does she do it? Alice's son, William Outlaw Jr., had taken over the family business of money lending, and many locals were in debt to both mother and son. In 1324, the gossip took an ugly turn. Alice's fourth husband, Sir John Beagle, too fell poorly, losing his hair, his nails. Alice's stepchildren were alarmed by not only by their father's illness, but also by the news that Sir John was about to sign a will leaving everything to Alice, effectively cutting them out. So this lady has gone through three husbands. She's on husband number 4. She's got stepchildren. This man losing his hair, he starts losing his nails, he starts losing the hair off of his body, and it is described a bit later as something that seems like something that's poisoned the guy. And obviously, the stepchildren become alarmed of their father's illness and health, and they also become alarmed because, like the other three husbands, he had left everything to Alice, cutting his children out of the will. So
Do we
there was
know
a lot
what
of,
the other husbands died of?
well, one apparently died after eating a meal,
Hmm.
which is really mysterious. Like he had a supper and he become ill and he died from it. So I'm taking it that maybe something was put into the food. Um, the second husband, so the first husband, he died mysteriously. He just died. It doesn't really say what happened to him, but just that he passed away suspiciously. The second husband
Oh
was
dear.
obviously the one that died from a drinking spree, but it was
Yeah.
something that he would always drink. It was something he was always used to, and he didn't show any signs of any health problems. So again, was there something in the drink? Then husband number three had this meal, this supper that she had obviously made him, because back in them
Mm-hmm.
days, the women would do the work for the men. It wouldn't really be the
Oh
men do
yeah.
it. So what,
We don't
obviously
need
with her
that.
being rich, She would have had maids and servants and people that worked in her kitchen. And I'm guessing maybe when they would bring the food out, maybe she added something into his food before he came to the table or anything like that. But something weird was definitely happening because 3 husbands have died. And now the 4th husband has mysteriously fallen ill and is losing his hair and his nails and that, which is not a normal behaviour.
Oh dear. Okay, I'll mute.
Sir John's children convinced him that Alice was trying to do him in. At first, Sir John didn't want to believe it, but legend says that when he searched her room, he found evidence in a number of locked boxes filled with potions, fillers, and powders. They brought their complaints to Richard de Ledreed, the Bishop of Ossory, claiming not only attempted murder, but that her financial success clearly came from demonic help. Women, of course, were considered incapable of marrying their own money, let alone anyone else. This was just the case that Bishop de Londra was looking for. He'd been having difficulties with the locals who resented him because he was English. The biggest thorn in his side was Alice's brother-in-law, Arnold, who was the royal secretary. The bishop clearly decided that a good way to stick to de la Pau was through his family and ally. Dame Alice, the bishop, brought charges of hearsay against Dame Alice, accusing her of leading a coven of witches. Alice and her associates, who include her son and her maid Petronella, were indicted for sacrificing animals to a demon, magically incommunicating their husband, and mixing magical ointments into skulls of a robber, who allegedly were made from worms, hairs from the buckets, and clothing from unbaptized baby boys. Alice was also alleged to have slept with a demon called Art, who sometimes appeared as a shaggy black dog. So not only is she being accused of actually having sexual intercourse with this demon or this energy that she is supposedly being involved with, but she's also got other people involved in this as well, her son and her maid. And she's got other women and people around her that are meant to be associated to her coven. Her husband and his stepchildren had found evidence of witchery things in the house in boxes like potions and powders and things that, you know, witches would normally use to put into things to make bags and pouches. Back in that day, it was very known for women to get rid of their husbands quickly. They would put things in food and that. They would put things like arsenic and mad stuff like that. I mean, they would do really mad stuff. So witches obviously know where to get things from and what things are. So, and she's got money, so she can buy out of town as well, which is probably why at first it was really hard to actually calculate it on her and be sure that that was what she was doing, because there wasn't any evidence apart from what they'd found in these boxes. If Dame Alice's wealth and position had gotten people's knickers in a twist, they now protected her against Bishop de Laudra initial efforts to have her imprisoned. When de Laudry wrote the challenge to the Chancellor of Ireland to have her arrested, it bit him in the butt. The Chancellor just happened to be Alice's first husband's brother. A delegation of Kilkenny's most influential citizen met the bishop to speak on Dame Alice's behalf. When the bishop refused to drop the charges, the citizens turned on him and had him imprisoned in Kilkenny jail for 2 weeks without bread and water to rethink his position. When the new furious bishop was released, he made it his personal mission to convict and to condemn Dame Alice. So, despite them trying to get rid of him, trying to get him out of the picture, Alice's brother-in-law being involved and being one of the high ends in the governments and things like that, it had been put aside. He was put into prison for 2 weeks for trying to get her arrested, but obviously he's come out of prison and he's still wanting to get Alice.
Yeah.
He
Oh,
knows
it's
something's
interesting.
not quite right. And it is suspicious because of how her husbands have died and just
Definitely
by how
suspicious.
the character she is as well. So, yeah, there's definitely something not quite right about her, definitely.
Yep.
He had an ally in John Darcy, the Lord Chief Justice, who was not happy when he found out what happened. The bishop finally succeeded in getting Alice at least exhumated. As far as she was concerned, all the Irish were heretics. However, Alice wasn't about to take this laying down. She appealed to Parliament in Dublin, claiming the the ecclesiastical court had no jurisdictions over her. It was a battle between church and state. Sorcery was a secular crime, not under the jurisdiction of the church. Her final argument was that there couldn't possibly be witches in Ireland since it was islands of saints. After months of a stalemate, stay, stalemate, Petrellus de Meth, one of Alice's servants, was whipped 6 times. Tortured to extract confession was prohibited by the English law, but apparently whipped servants was okay, and confessed to witchcraft. Implicating Alice, Petrella confessed that Alice was would sweep the dirt on the streets towards her son's house, while chanting a spell to bring all of the wealth of the town to his door. If this were true, I'd sweep more often. She went further and implicated Alice in some, claiming that he wrote the devil's griddle. To make the table really juicy, she added that Alice could fly on a magic broom and that she had taught Petrellina all the tricks of the trade. With Petrella's confession, it seemed that Alice's goose was cooked. She was sentenced to be whipped through the street while tied to the back of a horse and cart, after which she would be burned at the stake. Damn. That's quite a really heavy way that they actually done things to witches. They would pull them round by horses and they'd be whipped, they'd be
Very cruel.
stoned. They would have so much stuff done to them. They would be drowned in water by being tied to a chair, or they would have large bricks and stones put in their clothing and chucked in the water. And apparently, if they floated back up, they were innocent. If they didn't come back up, they're not innocent. How can you come back up with bricks and
I
stuff in
know.
your pockets? You know what I mean? Like, it
Terrible.
was disgusting.
Yep. A lot of cruel, cruel things happen to them.
Yeah. Alice, however, managed to once again slip out of Delaron's clutches with the help of her brother-in-law, Roger Outlaw. Her guards were beaten senseless, and Alice was escaped from the dungeons of Kilkenny Castle. The myth is that she fled to England, where she lived to a ripe old age. Furious of being thwarted yet again, Bishop de la Rue had Alice tried in absentia and found guilty, and her property confiscated. Poor Patrilla wasn't so lucky. She was sacrificed in the place of Alice to satisfy the howling mob. She was burned as a witch on November the 3rd, 1324, the first person in Ireland to be executed in this way. Alice's son William got off rather lightly, being ordered to hear 3 masses a day for a year and to feed the poor. No one knows what happened to the others who were also accused, but chances are they were also burnt, whipped, or forced to wear a cross.
Interesting.
Centuries later, the questions still remain: was Alice Kyteler really a witch? Were proper legal procedures for this time followed? Or was it simply a case of a few envious and jealous locals who decided to get rid of an uppity woman? What's your views, guys? Like, to me, there is a lot of really strange stuff that she was doing. Mysteriously, 3 husbands died. The other one was very close to death.
Mm-hmm.
She
Very
she
strange.
obviously had stuff that she had found by her last husband and stepchildren. She's been able to flee out of this situation several times due to the last husband's brother-in-law.
Mm.
She most definitely seemed like an attractive lady from what they're saying. She was very flirty, very open to
Cunning.
other men in there. She would get gifted money and get gifted jewelry and things. So to me, I'm still in 2 minds. Do I think she's a witch? Yes, I do think
Yeah.
she's a witch, definitely, just by what they're saying. Do I think it's
Yeah.
right that a poor maid took the flak for her? No, I don't think it was right that a maid had to take the flak for what she'd done. But in them days, this is what happened. If the person being accused escaped and didn't get found, they would do the next best thing, which is her close allies and family members normally. So
Yes. She
it
probably
wasn't,
knew that as well.
yeah. But how would you
Yeah.
sit there knowing that you're the cause of that and watching innocent lives being killed because of your ways and your teachings? Like,
She's just selfish and well, they did
yeah,
used to
to
say
make it
that
sound very.
witches were the cunning folk. So it just shows
Yeah,
you
but
that she
this is
was a
what
witch.
this sort of witch is what gives. I'm not going to say it disrespectfully because we don't know her and we don't know what happened to him. We don't really know what sort of life she had when she was with the family and that. But to me, this is the sort of witch, yeah, that really does give witches bad names because they've done all that
Yeah.
really bad stuff. That's how this trial for all these other witches came along. So all of these ladies and gentlemen that were innocent and weren't doing evil work were because of people like this that have done it years and years before.
Yeah.
And it's really sad. And
That's what started to make the higher ups very, very wary, wasn't it? Because of things like that. And then the
it
king
was,
became
yeah,
really paranoid.
he did, and scared. But at the same time, they would use these sort of ladies and gentlemen to help loved
Yes.
ones and stuff when they were sick. So
Yes.
they kind of were in 2 minds. So, like, let me go to the next little part that we've got of it.
Okay, okay.
So, part 2: Dame Alice Kyteler of Kilkenny, Ireland. Is she a poisoner? Quite likely. A witch? Perhaps a fighter? Absolutely. So, Dame Alice Kyteler was a culprit of the first successful witch trial in Ireland. If you can consider having an unfortunate woman burned at the stake successfully, Alice, however, didn't burn. She escaped the flames, leaving her maid servant Petrelena de Mute to become the first Irish victim of the witches' hunts. Dame Alice Kyteler was born to a wealthy Flemish family, relatively new to the area, an only child, reviewing a list of her husbands, on which she had four. It's plain to see she grew up in a life of excess and privilege. She was married to her first husband for about 5 years, a merchant and moneylender who was dangerous with the dangerous sounding name of William Outlaw. Their son was carried on his father's name. Is Their son, who carried their father's name, became mayor of Kilkenny, and his mother's business associate for most of her life. So her son was actually her money associate. He's the one that would lead and help her and get her propositions that she needed. He was very much involved in it. Her second husband, Adam Le Bundle or Callan, also a money lender, lived with Dame Alice Kyteler under the shadows of an accusation of murder against her first husband, but it was never proven. What is certain is that the two were incredibly wealthy. Dame Alice was in business with her son, lending money and squirreling away the profits. At one point, the younger William Outlaw claimed possession and guardianship of over 3,000 pounds for the two, in a time in which the average person earned less than 2 cents a day. Taking place in the early 14th century, initially accused of heresy by Bishop Richard de Leroy, I can't say his name, Ledreed, her case involved into a series of bizarre witchcraft allegations, including claiming of animal sacrifices, magical charms, and even concerting with a demon. The trial reflected the tense psycho-political climate of the time, marked by conflicts between local powers and structures, foreign authority, and rising concerns over hearsay. Kyteler's background was controversial. She was a wealthy widow involved in money lending, and her relationship with multiple husbands fueled local resentment. The trial involved dubious legal practices, including the use of torture to extract confession from her associates. Despite the dramatic accusations, Caitlin managed to flee before facing punishment. While some accused faced severe penalties, including execution. So she fled, and her allies have people of her family all faced the punishment because of that. Although Kettler's trial did not ignite immediate witch hunts, it laid the groundwork for future prosecution, illustrating the growing fears of witchcraft that would escalate across Europe in the coming centuries. Subsequent witch hunts would disappointingly target marginalized individuals, particularly women, often based on false and fictional claims. Eileen and Syaskill Grelushun, William Payne de Boyle, and Alice Faber, Annetta Lage and Eve de Brownstown, and Petrella of Methia, and her daughter Sarah, people began to say that this group had abandoned their faiths in churches for an altogether less orthodox set of beliefs. Some of this may have been generated by public disapproval of Alice's material life. Those who felt Dame Alice had far too many husbands, dying each of them far too young, but Bishop de Lareed was suspicious and he held a canonical inquest with 5 knights and a large number of speaking nobles speaking of rumours that they'd heard. It was relevant to the Bishop of Ledgereed at this inquest that the public believed that the town of Kilkenny was filled with many heretical sorcerers who practiced magic and went against the church, and that they had been there in the town for a very long time. The name Alice Kyteler appeared to be on the list of all and on the lips. 7 claims of witchcraft were made against Alice and her accomplices. They were said to deny faith in Christ, refusing to go into church, her mass or take communion. It was said that they performed sorceries and sacrificed living animals to demons in order to seek advice from the devil. They were believed to have no fear of the church authority, scoffing at the threats of excommunication when they held their nocturnal meetings. Filthily and were getting into the gross stuff. Now the group was accused of using the skull of an executed thief as a cauldron in which they would boil up hen intestines, oh dear, herbs and horrible worms, nails cut from dead bodies, bucket hairs, and the clothes of children who had died before being baptized. They created powders, ointments from the mixture, selling them as charms and phylacteries in the area. So not only did they do this stuff and do this really screwed up stuff, apparently, they would also take parts of that stuff away and sell it to the public as being something good. But a lot of people started to witness and have really bad things start happening, which would be understandable if you're taking remains from dead people and children and things. You're bound to have something bad
Yeah.
start conjuring up, and with the energy that they were getting involved with as well, even more so.
Yep.
The sixth accusation came from the families of Alice's previous husband. They accused Alice of using sorcery to murder their fathers and bewitching them into giving over all of the possessions to Alice and her son William. By 1324, her latest husband, Sir John Le Pure, was looking worse for wear. He was immersed with neither hair nor nails, and he joined in the claims of Alice's wickedness. Sir John Le Pure claimed that he had been given a warning by one of Alice's maidservants and had grabbed from his wife's hands the keys to her private chests. Inside he found a sack full of vile ingredients which he brought to two-part priests to give to the bishop as evidence. Lastly, and perhaps not the most shocking accusation, it was said that Alice had a demon incubus. This demon, the people said, called himself Robin, son of art. Sometimes the demon appeared as a cat, sometimes as a shaggy black dog, and sometimes as a man in black. They said that Alice slept with the demon, giving herself and her possessions to him, so that he would aid her in dark deeds. The accusations were clear: witchcraft. It's hard to know what exactly happened to Alice during this time, but she appeared to have made a clear escape from religious or judicial punishment. Perhaps she went into hiding somewhere in Ireland, shielded by one of her many powerful friends, or perhaps she fled overseas back to England or to the home of her Flemish ancestors. Whatever happened, she doesn't seem to have been harmed by the proceedings against her, but her inner circle were not so lucky. Kettler's Inn today still serves up tasty food and a good pint. You could be forgiven for seeing Kettler's Inn today as a tourist trap. You're faced with a statue of Dame Alice as a witch almost as soon as you enter, and there are markings done lean heavily on the witchcraft theme. But at the same time, you're in a 13th century building with great food, plenty of drink, and varieties of music, traditional Irish as well as modern. It may be tailor made for tourism, but it does its job well. Part three.
Need to go.
So you can go to Ireland, and that pub is still up and running. That is the place where she actually run and she
Is it a
worked
bed and
in.
breakfast we could stay in?
It might be a bed and breakfast. Um, she run that. That was her business. She lived there for a short time as well as living in her home with her first husband. So, that
Alright,
place
we'll be
has
there.
been there for many, many, many centuries and holds a lot of history and a lot of time. That would be a very interesting place to investigate. I bet a lot
Sure.
of stuff would happen there because of what
We're going
she's
there in
supposed to do.
2026.
Yeah,
We'll
I think we
save for
should
it.
do it. Yes,
Definitely.
the life. So here is just another little bit. Yes, the life and story of Alice Kyteler, the first woman in Ireland accused of witchcraft, are celebrated and explored through the Alice Kyteler Festival, held annually in Kilkenny, commemorating the 700th anniversary of her trial. This festival, organised by the Kilkenny Archaeology Society and Local Heritage, takes place in Kilkenny, Ireland, at historical sites like Kilkenny Castle, Kilkenny Inn, and St. Cancey's Cathedral. The festival explores the history of Lady Alice Kyteler, a wealthy widow and moneylender who became the first woman in Ireland to be accused of witchcraft in the 14th century. The festival commemorates over a 700-year anniversary of the events surrounding the Kilkenny witch trials, including the tragic fate of Puchenna Meath, the first person in Ireland to be executed for witchcraft. The festival features talks, discussions, and events that delve into the medieval Kilkenny, the phenomenon of witchcraft accusations, and the wider context of the 14th century Irish Europe history. The festival serves as a remembrance and recollection, honouring those who suffered unjustly during the witch trials, while celebrating the enduring legacy of women who dared to defy conviction. The festival takes place in Kilkenny, Ireland, at locations such as Kilkenny Castle again and Kilkenny Inn and the Cancey's Cathedral. The Kilkenny Inn is a pub located in the centre of medieval Kilkenny in Ireland, with parts of the building dating to the 13th and 14th century, and is traditionally associated with the the Kyteler family and Dame Alice Kyteler. Step back in time to the 1324 and uncover the chilling tales of the island's first witchcraft trial during Kilkenny's newest festival run. So this can all be seen, as I'm saying, in Kilkenny. You can go there for festivals. They do festivals around November time, and what it is they have a remembrance over you know, the lives that were taken there, but also the lives of all the ladies and the gents that lost their lives through all of the witch trials all over the place. This is a celebration for to
Yeah,
remember,
for
you
that.
know, the
Yeah.
unfortunate, the ones that were badly accused for things and wrongfully killed.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so yes, it's from the 1st to the 3rd of November normally. So this bit that I'm reading to you was their 700th anniversary, and I think that was in 2024. So it's coming to 701 years
Oh,
since the
right.
first person ever being executed for witchcraft in Ireland. So I think it'd be a really good place to go to. The Alice Kyteler Festival, held in November in Kilkenny, stands as a remembrance and a recollection honouring the memory of those who suffered injustice during the witch trials, while celebrating the enduring legacy of women who dared to be different and to show themselves and to be proud. You know, yes, do I agree with the way she treated her husband and the things she done? No, but there was a lot of innocent people that were killed wrongfully and shouldn't have been
But we
sacrificed
don't
like
know how
that.
they treated her. We do not
And
know
that's
how
what I'm
he
saying.
treated her.
You can't
You
really
know.
say that she's a bad person or she's an evil person or she's anything like that because we don't really know what her upbringing. Yes, she was in a rich family. Yes, she had rich husbands, but you don't know what she went through behind closed doors. You don't know if she was eerily mistreated. You don't know what went on. So
Exactly.
you know, that's what it's one of these stories. It happened 700 years ago. Unless she's going to actually just miraculously come through our windows now and tell us everything that happened, we have not got much
We'll
chance.
go and
Apart
investigate
from
and
the
see if she'll
we
give
have,
us answers.
you know what I mean? Yeah,
Yeah.
but
We'll see if she's got
I think that
remorse for her family
was a
um,
really, really. I do think that
suffering.
was really interesting. A really
Oh,
interesting
it was a
story.
good story, yeah.
I do apologise for some of the wording I was trying to say to you, but it is like very Scottish, Irish sounding, and some of the words are really, really hard to say. So this is
Yeah,
a legend. Right, I'm going to show you some pictures, okay, guys. So the
yeah.
first picture is allegedly what Alice Kyteler looked like 700 years ago.
Mm. All right.
So that's apparently her, and then
Interesting.
inside the pub, this is the statue that they've got that represents her as a witch and the fact that, you know, the pub was hers. So this is a statue that you will see as soon as you go through into
Door.
the inn.
Hmm. She looks older there. And that'll be the inn then, eh?
So this was the inn and the alleyway near the inn back in the 1700s, 700 years ago. This is what it would have looked like. So very interesting.
Mm. Definitely. Need to go there. Probably will be a bed and breakfast, either that or there'll be a B&B
Well,
and
for it to be
or something.
called an inn, that it very much sounds like if it's an inn, that's normally where you've
Yeah,
got your bedrooms as well, isn't it? So we'll have to
definitely. Yeah,
see.
I want to check out that. And definitely Brother Scott. We'll try and go.
There's the
Oh
inn.
yeah,
This
look
I
at
think
it.
this, yeah. And now a few pictures of it today, guys, all done up 701 years later almost.
All right, nice. Mm, yeah.
And it's beautiful inside. It's very beautiful
Oh,
inside.
look at that. It's like some of the old pubs in Edinburgh.
Yeah.
There you go. Yeah, we should start doing things like that maybe once a year. Save up for it. Maybe you guys could sponsor us.
As you can see, it's huge. So obviously, I think before it was a pub, it was probably some massive building or somewhere that people lived in, or maybe like a
Look at the
farming area
windows.
or
It's like
something.
churchy windows.
Yeah, it's very big. And
Like
then just a
church
little cute picture
windows.
of it on out at the front as you go into the door, where you will first meet her statue of her, the
Mm.
famous Alice Kyteler of Ireland. The first witch to bring trials of witches.
Yeah.
So, what did you guys think? Did you like it? I love stone-faced houses. Oh, so do I. They're absolutely stunning. I like old buildings. I just have a thing about old buildings.
Brother
Anything
Scott wants to get
Victorian,
an aeroplane. He wants to go.
Gothic. Yeah, I don't blame you because it is very beautiful. And you will find that when you go to Ireland, the Irish people are really, really lovely people to be around. They love
Yeah.
to party and have a good time and things like that. They're really
All
lovely
us
and that. And it's just,
Celtic folk are friendly.
yeah, all Celtic people are. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
I just think it'd be an amazing place to go to just to feel that history. And
Yeah,
for
definitely.
the fact we're witches ourselves, you know what I mean? Like, how has it changed over there since 700 years ago? Are they more open to witches now? Are they not as freaked out by them? You know, like,
Would you take offence to us being on our land because we are witches?
yeah,
We'd
exactly.
maybe
Like
have to
all of
take
those,
an offering.
they're all questions and things that intrigue me, and I'd be really curious to just see, you
Yeah,
know, like, love the
take her
story.
some
I'm glad
little
you love the
offerings.
story. They
It's an
don't make
interesting
buildings like that
story.
anymore. They
Yeah,
don't.
definitely. I feel as if just hearing the story, my intuition tells me that she was like that for a reason, that she probably had to be that way. That's what I'm kind of getting, that she had to probably be a little bit tougher. She was probably in the heart of maybe Kilkenny was was a busy little place, and maybe she had to protect herself in a lot of ways. So she got a harder
Well,
nose.
it's not only that, but over there as well, by the sounds of it, they were very heavily into their religion, Christianity, and that. And she
Yeah,
just really did like somebody that didn't want to follow that line, that way. She wanted to be herself. So, in a lot of
she
ways,
didn't want
maybe
to
she
hide
did
who
need
she
to. She
was.
needed to
Yeah,
protect. She needed to protect herself because they knew that
yep,
she was different. I mean, like people back in them days, you wouldn't have wanted them to find out that you was a witch because it wouldn't end well, you know what I mean?
no.
As we've seen and witnessed over the years, you know what I mean? So,
It probably was the
but
case as
to
well
me, it
that,
still doesn't really radiate how she treated her husbands, though. Why did she treat her
yeah,
husbands like that if they gave her everything? You know what I mean? Like that don't make sense,
see,
that
that's what
part.
I'm
But
thinking. Yeah, domestic violence,
there's
I
got to
think.
be more behind it. Maybe yeah, they were loving and open to her, but maybe they weren't very nice to her. Maybe they treated her like a slave, or
See,
she
think
weren't
about
allowed
it.
to
She was
be
very
herself. She weren't
pretty.
allowed to go out. Yeah, because she
Yeah,
was
think
pretty as
about it.
well.
She
They
was
probably hid her away.
a lot of the time when you're pretty and you're with someone, they don't want anybody else to look at you. They don't want you to be pretty. So maybe in that sense of the word, she was locked away and wasn't allowed to have friends, wasn't allowed, so you just don't know. But I feel
Yeah,
as if
and
she was
husband
to have.
getting jealous and maybe become violent or something,
Yeah,
you know, like because he was angered, not meaning to, but did, you know, like there could be a lot of reasons behind why she done what she done, but still,
definitely.
do I think she's a witch? Yes, I do think she was a witch,
Definitely, I
definitely.
think so.
Um,
I
do
think a
I
lot of
think that
people
she's
were
do
way
I think
back
she's
then.
pure? I think she's got some evil in her, but she might have that evil in her for a reason, as we're saying. But I will
Yeah,
say,
same.
Dave, Alice Kyteler, your actions sometimes did not help us ladies as we moved on, though. I will say
No,
that. Yeah,
definitely
but
not. Yeah. Character. I do believe that she was a witch as well, guys. I believe that she was a character, probably a little bit of a tomboy as well. So yeah, I think she probably had to defend herself in a lot of ways, which doesn't excuse what she was doing, of course, but I do
no,
believe she was that way for a reason.
yeah, and you would have to be pretty tough if you're running an inn that's got
Yeah,
wealthy men in and out.
that's what I'm
Like you're
thinking.
definitely
Yeah.
gonna need to do that. You know what I mean?
Was probably
So
the heart of the town, so she was probably having to defend herself, especially if she was pretty. So
Well, that's what they were saying. A lot
remember,
of them went in there that they went in there to get her attention. So you could imagine
yeah,
back in them days, the guys would pull the women around. They'd pull you around and pull you on their laps and all sorts of things. Like
and it'd be
it's not
drunken
like it
men
is
as
today where
well.
we can't be touched and treated like that because they'd get chucked out. Back in them days, men were allowed to do whatever they wanted to the women. It didn't matter.
Mostly,
You know
yeah.
what I mean?
And they would be
So,
all drunk and things. So yeah, I do believe she was doing it to
and if
protect
he was
herself. She
wealthy
just that's who
with
she
lots
was.
of money,
Yeah.
they would turn a blind eye to it.
Mm.
You know.
I think as
You're
well,
very welcome. And
a lot of
you're going to
the a
get a
lot of
lot
the
more of these
people,
stories.
yeah, a lot of the people away back then were that way though. And as Sister Sherry, as Sister Willow says, they did hide it. Nobody wanted to let other people know who they were. If you did work with a lot of spell stuff like your herbs and oils and things, people hid it. And it wasn't until you needed them to bring it out for maybe an illness that they had, that's when they did come out and use it. And then once people put healing together with witchcraft, that's when all went crazy.
Yeah, and people
People were
started
just
going all weird.
healed.
And you say Salim says my mother was Irish. She had quite the temper. Yeah, Irish. Yeah, I know.
Oh
I know. I've got
yes.
some Irish friends. They can. Ladies don't take no crap. Definitely not. It
No.
was real. It's real
Hi,
to
Brother
understand. Like,
Louis.
yeah, no, women back in the day didn't have life. We weren't allowed to study. We weren't allowed to be in courts. We weren't allowed to be part of anything. We kind of were just meant to be there to look pretty and to make the husbands look good. Do you know what I
And
mean?
have babies and
And
cook.
it's not really a life. So for her to be taking a pub on, she's got to have been some character to take a pub on and take on all those men, and
Yeah.
especially back in that day. You know what I mean? Like, yeah,
Probably
definitely.
rowdy sailors and things as well.
Oh
Brother
yeah.
Louis says it was. I wait to take
Hey,
that
Brother Lou.
notification. He says it was a great read. I understood. Life for women in the past was even more difficult than nowadays. They weren't even allowed to study. Definitely,
Yeah, that's
Brother
what
Louis.
I'm saying. They weren't allowed to. No, we weren't allowed to have anything in them days. Victorian, all the way up. We weren't. We were just the ones that had to walk around in our beautiful dresses and make our husbands look amazing. You know what I mean? Sort of thing. That's
Yeah,
what we were there to do.
and try
And
and have sons for them to carry on the family name.
make kids. You'll
Yeah,
find that in a society where you're rich, importance, the woman's job to make sure that they've got heirs and things like that. You know
yeah,
what I mean? So that was a lot what women would have to be that back in them days, especially the rich ladies that have got husbands that have got titles. Now it would be, I need children and I
yeah,
need you to come
definitely.
to this and come to that and make me look good, sort of thing. You know what I mean? Like, it's not like it is now. You can't come pulling a woman on your lap now because you'd get chucked out the bar. You could get done for
Too many
sexual
blue drinks.
assault for trying to grab someone up. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Completely different.
but yeah,
Hello,
definitely.
the paranormal pub. How are you?
Well, hello, Michael, brother. Welcome, welcome. It was a good wee story. Definitely find more of them. We'll have a look around the
They were
internet and
very,
they'll be
very
below.
impressed back then. Back in the olden days, the women, like I said, that they would bear children and growing up, getting ready for marriage, they would be learned and taught how to be a wife. So they would learn how to sew, how to play pianos, how to speak correctly, how to dress correctly.
Yeah,
It was never any other sort of thing. It wasn't
I
education,
know.
it was everything else. As long as they could
We're not
read,
allowed
they
to.
could play a piano, and they could speak, they were fine.
Welcome
You know
in,
what I mean? That was
Keridwin's
what they
Corner.
were fine.
Nice to see you here.
Hello,
Blessings to you. We
Edwin
met
Corner. How are
Keridwin's
you?
Corner today on God's Magic channel. So we did. She's also Welsh, the same as Sister Kerry.
She is, yeah. Hello and welcome to
Nice to
you.
see you. Remember, I've researched it. I've got a couple of the witch trials on my page. It's usually about the Scottish witch trials, though. And that one about the lady, all she wanted was a penny. She had come out the bar. Basically, she did like her beer, guys, but she came out the bar and she had asked these ladies really the way that you read the story is as if the ladies were of higher intelligence. Well, they thought themselves higher intelligence, and they were also higher up in the society. So you can just imagine them with their pretty dresses on, and this vagabond, she was called a vagabond, came out the bar and asked them for a penny, and they were that taken aback that they had asked. She had the audacity to even speak to them. They tried to get her done for witchcraft, and they did. They succeeded. They were that astonished that she even spoke to them. I read it in my channel. I need to find a couple of them. That some of the stories
Yeah,
are
that's
amazing,
what I'm saying.
honestly. And
Back
that's
in
what
them
they've
days,
done.
even though they didn't
Their
have much of
husband,
life, they were really
one of their,
nasty to the lower
yeah,
people. Very nasty to the lower people.
one of
They
their
didn't look at
husbands
it
was a
that
school
the lower
teacher.
class shouldn't speak to them. The lower
Yeah,
class
that's what it
shouldn't
was.
talk to them. The lower class should back down to them and give them whatever they want and things like that. You know what I mean?
She
That is how they
fainted.
were.
Yep. And she said because it was the power of her that made our friend faint. And I do believe her husband, one of their husbands was a school teacher, I think, or a minister. And they had went back and told him. And that is how it came about that they said that she was using witchcraft because the lady had fainted. It was an amazing story. I'll try and find it and we'll read it out next week or something. If not, it's
Well,
on my
there's going
channel
to be a
somewhere.
lot. There's going to be a lot of stories and stuff like these ones I've brought out myself, but I would like to get Sister Drew involved in some of it. So I would like to
Read
bring
them,
some of
sis.
the witch trial stuff up. I'd like to do some witch trial
Yeah.
stuff, definitely. Um,
The Edinburgh
and do
University
some-
has got it all on the website. I can send you the file. It's amazing. Some of the stories are absolutely amazing what they got accused of. And all because they
yeah,
just
but that's
want,
what I'm saying. We could maybe do a show on that, like what people were accused of and what sort of offences got them accused of
yeah,
witchcraft and their lives being
nuts.
ended,
Hmm.
things like that. Obviously, like the show next week. Next week we're doing the show on Amityville Horror House, so that's going
Yeah,
to be
that'd
quite
be
interesting.
good.
So you can get some research on that, sis, because it would be nice for you to do some talking in that as well.
Yeah, I'll
Um,
try and find the files. I'll need to get them old phone, see if I can find them.
so we've got that, and then I'm meant to be having a lovely lady up for an interview at some point as well,
Yeah, it'll be interesting.
which is going to be really interesting because she has connections with dragons, and she also does like herbal stuff, and she knows a lot about crystals and things as well. So it's going to be really interesting to have her come up and talk. One of her friends should hopefully be going with her and coming up.
Yeah, it'll be interesting. We'll try and get more.
That'd be really
Remember, if you
interesting. But
know anybody that would like to come up and tell their story about witchy ways
yes,
or anything, let us know.
you're all welcome, guys. This show, even though like I'm here and I'm doing educational bits, it's not just for education. It is for interviewing, and people can come up and have interviews, talk about paranormal, talk about witch stuff. It don't have to just be witch stuff. It can be paranormal, anything, spirituality, whatever you want to
Yeah,
come up and talk about. This show's about you guys. But what things would you like to see us talk about, and what things would you like to learn about?
yeah. What would you like to talk about? There's so much. That's why we don't know really what to do because there's that many things we could talk about. And we've spoke about that much before, Sister Sherry and I. We've done all this 3 times already. Think about the connection that some of these people had to the land. And then people came along and started building as well. And all their little witchy houses, all that energy is still in that land. In Lanark especially, you feel it. It's amazing, some of the stories that you hear. I do believe that here where I stay is where some of the witchy people stayed. Either that or this is where some of them were took from and hung or whatever. Because you do feel it's just
Yeah, there's
strange that,
areas around my place as well. There's
yeah,
areas that have got weird names, like not that far from where I am. There's like the dead man's corner, which is where they used to hang people and that. So it's not that
yeah,
far from here. So
exactly.
on the
Uh-huh.
on the front side of a road, do you know what I mean? Like,
Yep. Pendle witch trial is interesting. The child who accused her mother of being a witch. That's definitely a great subject, Selim. We'll definitely try and
Yeah, all of
talk
them.
about that if you want.
We could
I
do
would
some
love to
stuff
go
on
to
them. Yeah,
Salem
it is nice.
based on it. I would love to definitely go
Dragons.
to Pendle
Somebody
Hill.
else said dragons. We can talk about some dragons. Of course, we could talk about dragons at some point. Of course, definitely.
Sure.
I am going to be doing a show in about a month. I'm going to be doing it on my channel, but I'm going to be streaming it through certain channels. So it'll be Sister Drew's. I'll probably do it through and through the Within the Cauldron, where I'm going to be doing a show where I'm going to have some people coming up, and we're going to be talking about fairies and people's interactions with them, how they've worked with them, what they get from being around them, and stuff like that. And I'm hoping to bring in a dragon one as well.
That'll be good.
So it'd be really, really cool. Lou, you should come up, brother. You should come up on one of my shows, and you should come and talk about dragons with me. Come up. It'd be so cool.
For sure. Start talking about the things. Pendle witch trial is interesting. The child who accused her mother. I want to go to Pendle Hill. Sister Sherry and I, and probably Sister Kerry, will get to Pendle Hill at some point, guys. Got to. The same with Kilmarnock and things. I would love to go over to Kilmarnock because that's where one of the famous witch trials here in Scotland was. I can't remember the story or the girl's name, but because I'm terrible with names, but that's one of the famous ones as well as over at Kilmarnock. I need to try and get there.
Look, both of you come up. You can both come up. Lou, brother, and Paranormal Hub. Why don't you both come up on a show with me together, and we can talk about dragons and paranormal stuff and whatever. You know what I mean? Like, not really had you guys come up on here before. It'd be really nice. You've been supporting me all these years, and you've never ever shown your face on one of my streams yet.
You need to come up.
It's about time.
Yes,
it's about time. And what else was they saying? Sherry, how's your Fae doing? My Fae are doing amazing. They are little darlings. I am actually having to start. I'm gonna have to start doing their garden bit up again. I'm gonna be doing artificial flowers in there, so they've got flowers all year round.
They're the girls, Clara and what's the other one's name? Clara. I'm never sure whether it's the
Clara and Primrose.
I'm never sure whether it's Primrose or the other one. Hello, girls. They're so beautiful. Brother Louis says the Western dragon with legs, feet, arms, hands, and wings is a Jabberwocky. The Eastern serpent-like dragon is a lung or long dragon. You need to come up and explain all this to us.
Lou, you're cutting what I'm asking you out. Why are you not listening and talking to me? Will you come up on one of my shows with me? And yes, Paranormal Hub, definitely.
Yes.
So yeah, really, really going really well with the fairies and everything, guys. I've got some things in play and in order at the moment. I am actually in the middle of making my own fairy oracle deck. I am designing my own fairy oracle deck, and I have been channeling them for their energy, what they're into, what they represent. So I've got 2 little bits to go in the book so far, and I've got some really beautiful pictures of them. I can't show you guys it because I don't want other people to know how I do it, but
it's finished.
They are going to be really cool when they're done, and they're going to represent my name in it and stuff like that. It's going to be really, really cool when they come out.
This is when they all start to come alive again, guys. This is coming into spring. Spring is here, technically. Yeah. So they will be coming.
They are starting to come back round now, so they're going to start stirring soon. So I want to get outside, cut all the grass when it starts growing back a bit, cut all the grass and stuff, get these artificial flowers and stuff, put them all into the pots and get all of the dead ones out. And but to be honest, there aren't many dead ones because I've removed most of them, but there's still a few up. Move that. I've got my mama's mushroom stone that she had outside, so I'm going to put that out the back with the flowers as well.
That'll be nice.
I've got a lot of ideas for that. Put a bit more ivy and stuff up because all of the ivy's blown off from the wind, so I need to get a bit more in areas. Yeah,
just waiting the frost going away, and it's planting season.
Oh, it will turn out beautifully. It'll look beautiful when I'm finished. Believe me, it will. It won't look crappy or anything like that. I will put my time into it. Definitely.
Yes.
And I've got to sort out their fairy homes.
Yeah, just
where the wind whiplashed them, and some animal or creatures decided to start trying to eat their polystyrene mushrooms. So the fairies have got half mushrooms at the minute, so I've got to take them all out. And I want to get plastic ones because I'm scared that it's going to harm that whatever animal is taking it. I don't want it getting sick or anything. But it's been eating polystyrene. You know what I mean? It's been eating polystyrene. So I took all of them out the other day because I noticed it. And I was like, oh my God, no, like, please don't die anywhere or anything like that. Like, I'm sure it hasn't, it's all right. But I moved them out and I thought I'm gonna get some plastic ones so that they can't eat them.
Yeah, it'll be nice. It'll be nice.
Oh, amazing, Sister Kim. You're gonna get your altar ready for Austria. Good. It's coming up.
Yes, definitely, guys. It'll be next. Yep. It's good to make an effort for the witchy seasons. I can feel a live event coming, me and Willa and Drew. Oh, definitely, brother Michael. We will do
there's definitely going to be. I've said yes to you, Brother Hub. Yes, definitely. We will sort that out at some point. Obviously, I've got a show this Monday coming. And then I've got an interview that's coming up as well. Then I don't think I've really got very much to do after that. So obviously we've got this show next week, which is the Amityville horror. We've got the lady coming up to talk about the dragons and herbs and crystals. And then after that,
we're showing Tuesday as well. Yeah.
Yeah, Sister Drew has her shows on Tuesdays at 11 p.m. UK time as well, guys, doing the card, the Divination Tuesday.
We're going to try and do a couple hours of studying together and maybe a Sunday night. But that won't be on the shows, guys. That'll be private. The fairy cards, when you complete, they did say you will show us or I'm
making the fairy cards to get them published so that people can buy them.
Yeah, will be good.
So you'll be able to buy Willow's fairy cards. You'll have some of your own ever. I'm also going to be doing a book. I'm doing a couple of books as well. I'm going to be writing. I'm going to attempt to try to write a book on my journey about my witchcraft and how I come into it naturally. I'm going to do a book about my my interactions with the fae and the things that I've got to experience with them. And I want to do one with my dragons as well. But I think I might do my dragon and my fae in one book.
So that'd be quite interesting.
Good. Yeah.
Everybody should do a memoir. Get their stories out there for the future people to know how everybody started. Lindworms is a type of dragon. Okay, brother Louis. There's so many different types, though.
Yeah, no, it's just something I really want to do. I want to be able to keep my thing going. And like, what's the point of having all of this experience and stuff with the fae and the dragons and that to never do anything about it apart from educate you guys? I want to bring something out. So I would like to have a book and I would like to get some cards made to do with them because I am. Once I've done my fairy ones and I've got used to doing the fairy ones, I think there's going to be like 3 sets. So these ones are just like your normal fairies and like your Sabbath fairies and stuff like that. Then you're going to have the deck that is going to be the royal fairy deck. So only the royal
Mm,
energies will give you messages. So I'm going to be doing
right.
that one. And then I'm
Be good,
doing a
Sally.
I want to do a dragon tarot deck as well. I want
Yeah,
to do my own dragon one as well. Yeah.
that'll be cool.
So that'd be really cool. Oh, I'm telling you, I was on with my fella last night and I was saying, look, I need somewhere where I can get some really good pictures and where it don't look cartoony. And he's
Yeah.
found like got this thing that he uses, and oh my god, some of the pictures that he's got me up
Yeah, you're
for
the
them
eye.
is absolutely amazing. It's got Primrose in it, it's got Clara
Oh,
in it, because
Clara. That'll be good.
Like, originally Clara is associated with snowdrops, and she is a spring pixie, because that's what my little lady is. She's a spring pixie. They're sisters, so
Yeah.
they're both of the same blood, but they represent different things. So obviously Primrose represents the primrose flower, and obviously our beautiful Clara is the snowdrops. She loves the
Drops.
snowdrops, but they look after obviously other energy and other things. They do things to help people and things like that. So Clara and Primrose are in the book.
Right. Good. They deserve to be in the book. They're lovely little
Yeah,
energies. They
yeah.
definitely are, guys.
You might be speaking to a dragon and not even know about it.
Definitely, Brother Louis.
I definitely know how it
What
feels to have a dragon
future?
channel through me, because I've done it plenty of times, brother Lou Dog. So yeah,
Kim's asking, are they going to be more oracle or tarot?
I don't really want to go down the line of tarot. I want to do it
No,
more
I was
oracle.
really
I want it to be
thinking
more
them.
personal
Yeah, they probably
message
need to be
and more
oracle.
about them. With the tarots, you kind of have to have a regime of how they are. Where with your
Yeah, you've
oracles,
got to
it's
stick
them
to it.
and their energy. So it is
Yeah,
based on their energy and what they do and what I've experienced and know what they help in, and putting that
yeah.
into my card with you guys. So it'd be oracle. Yeah.
I'll start a spirits oracle deck. See if the spirits will give us advice.
No, we're not going off topic at all, because we've finished that
Oh.
part of it. We're just having a little general chat now.
Yeah, it's all
You
about
know,
and remember, it's all about strange and unknown, so it doesn't really need to be about one specific thing.
no, I like my show to have a bit of diversity in it.
Yes, got to.
Makes
Hello,
it fun.
anonymous light. Blessings to you.
Sign me up. I will sign you all up when it's made. I've only just started making them, guys. They're not even
Yeah.
half done yet.
We do one a
I've already
day.
got orders.
At this rate, they're wanting them ASCP. That'll be good though to do something like that though, because it definitely get
That's
your
very
name out
light.
there.
Hello, Light. How are you, darling? And yeah, it is 701 years this year. It'll be. It's nuts. It is
Nuts, isn't
nuts.
it?
It is. Hello.
Yeah.
So
Hello.
yeah,
It's definitely nuts. I mean, it's a shame.
you
It's a
know,
shame that I had to come to that as well, with her family getting the brunt because she did the crime. But that's the way it did work, guys. They wanted to get somebody for it. So if you run, your family got it. You
okay,
know.
Lou. Well, we'll sort out a schedule with you when you're free. Just let us know. Like, we'll say to you, and then you just give us a date that you think you'll be free, and we'll do it. And definitely Paranormal Hub
Your
as
brother.
well. Definitely get you up. That'd be really good to get you talking about your paranormal stuff. And if you love dragons, you can talk a bit about dragons. You know, when I was
Yeah,
15, I made
sure.
my old brother drive me to the Amityville house. Growing up, the town
Down
Amityville.
in
Oh
Amityville.
wow, that's somewhere
Nice.
I've always wanted to go and check out. Amityville.
Yeah,
I've always wanted to check
I
out
do
the
believe.
Amityville
Yeah,
house.
we'll talk more about it next week. But I definitely believe there was something there.
Yeah,
Got a few things.
Dash, can you please go and lay down?
Was only 25 minutes away. Wow, Salem. Interesting. It's a crazy place.
It is, and there's a lot of story and stuff behind it. To be honest, in the films and stuff, it's been so far fetched, and things have been changed so many times. So that's why I like to do these talks and stuff. Like, we'll get as
Yeah,
much evidence and stuff as we can possibly get, but sadly, in this world, in reality, a lot of the information gets changed and mixed up and that. But
Yeah.
I promise that we will get what we can get.
Have you
You know what I
ever
mean? Like,
seen the documentary about the family that moved in that the haunting was about? Have you ever seen the documentary about what the son said? So there's what's his name? David. His name's David, I think it is. So the Lutzes were the ones that had the criminal aspect to it, with the murders and things. But the family that moved in after it, the one that had the haunting, what's their names again?
oh, I can't remember.
But their son, the lady's son, he was the minute that we should talk about this next week, but this is just a side note. When there is a documentary about it, it's called The Amityville True Story or something. That boy who left that house the minute that they had to leave, remember they done a runner, after they lasted 46 days or something. Well, after that,
Oh yeah. I know what you're on about. I can't remember their name. Yeah.
after that, he went into hiding and would not speak to anybody for years and years. And then as an adult, he came out with his story. I'm sure his name's David. But try and find it. It's an amazing story, by the way. He tells you hundreds of things that happened in that house that the media and things never ever told anybody about, how that man was into witchcraft and things like
I
that.
think I have seen it. I'm sure I've seen it because I did watch something on Amityville, and I remember it was a
Yeah,
documentary, so it might have been there. Because I remember
it's a great
the
documentary.
guy being really. I remember the guy that lived in that house being really disturbed by it, and he said that he was too
Yeah, he
scared to
wouldn't
talk
speak
about
to
things at
anybody
first.
for years
Yeah, he wouldn't speak about
until
it. Wouldn't
that.
even acknowledge that he lived in it.
Yep,
Nothing. He didn't want to know. Didn't want to even
and that
entertain the name. It took him
he
ages
only
to do that
spoke.
stuff.
He would
Oh yeah,
only
but
ever speak to that the
I'd probably have
ladies
to
that came
rewatch
along.
it. I'd
Yeah,
probably have to
definitely try
rewatch
and
it
watch it.
to just re-jog your mind a little bit. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Like,
I'm going to try and find it for next week. Yeah, Anonymous Light is saying it's on Netflix.
it's on Netflix, and then he put, it's interesting his take and how it messed him up. Yeah, it
Did
is, and
mess them
that's
up
what
really bad.
this stuff's real. This
Yeah,
stuff is real, and this stuff happens to people, guys. That's what people need to realize. It does happen, and
yeah.
it's not a nice experience, especially if the extent of that
Wait
and
till we
what they
tell you half it.
were going
Yeah,
through. That wouldn't have been nice at all.
yeah.
The house
3 times since the
has
murders.
changed ownership 3 times since the
I'm not
murders. Well, I
surprised.
could imagine, you know what I mean? It's probably too hard to live
Yeah,
in it. All that
I'm not
energy and
surprised.
sadness and darkness and stuff.
Yeah,
Not nice.
even from
What
outside
did
it,
Kim write?
it gives a vibe.
A weird question, please. How many cards is going to be in your deck? 50.
Yeah, that's a good number, 50. Yeah, definitely.
There are hundreds that I could speak to you about, guys, but I don't think you want to be sitting there for the next 2 or 3 weeks trying to get through every single area I've
No,
put
I
in there.
think
You know
maybe
what I mean?
15, as you said, there'll be
You know,
follow-up
50 would be
next
good.
to it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that do follow-ups.
Our life force and general peace certainly does get messed up by internal or
Oh, it does, yeah. Yeah.
external forces, definitely. Paranormal hub, yeah, I agree. That's why you've got to be very aware that these things are real. Maybe when you were younger, your mums and dads and things told you it wasn't real. More probably to save you. But people have to realise now that it is very real and that dark forces are working against us every day.
Sometimes I say that sort of stuff to you as well because they don't want to acknowledge it because it
Yeah,
scares them as well. It's like that. Let's not talk about that.
yeah,
You know, a
they're scared as well.
lot of people don't know how to take this sort of stuff.
Yeah. I think it's only just nowadays that people are starting to realise that the boogeyman is very real.
Oh yeah, he is very real in his own way. Yeah, he
Yep.
definitely is. There's a lot of these characters that we get told fictional and not real, then they are real. Even down
Yeah.
to like the fae stuff. The amount of people that turn around and have said about faes and dragons don't exist and spirits don't exist, and they all exist.
That's just because they're scared to admit it, because they might see it.
Yeah.
For sure. Guys, remember I've got a show tomorrow night as well at like 11 o'clock UK time. We will be doing divination. I can't remember what we said we were going to do. Do you remember?
I think you said that we was going to do another couple of sets of cards. We're going to do some different
Yeah,
cards.
that's right. Yeah, we'll pick some more decks to go through.
Yeah.
Yeah, we could do Moonology or something. Yeah, I'll do Moonology. And I'll do Eternal Power, maybe, or something. We'll see. We'll do some anyway.
Yeah, I think I'll probably do my animal ally one.
Yeah,
The ones
do
with my
that.
animals, and I'll do a witchy one as well. Do my witchy ones.
Yep.
I ain't done them for a while.
That's what I'll do. I'll do the Moonology and I'll do maybe Sacred Destiny or something. We've not done them for a long time. We'll figure it out.
Yeah.
It'll be good though.
Well, it's coming up for an hour and a half, guys, and we have done the show. The show was done within 55 minutes, which was really good. And it was a really interesting show. And I'm really glad that I read this stuff about Alice Kyteler
Yeah,
and being
me
able to
too.
bring it to light that, there was a lot of this already going on way before the witch trials even started. There was already this going on, just
Yeah.
it wasn't as heard and known about. And thank you to the person that helped me to find this story. Make sure you keep coming to me with more stories and good
Yeah,
stuff.
thank you
You
very
know
much,
who you
producer.
are.
Ronnie
I do.
Defoe, yes, Alan. No, that's not who was doing it. That's not who was telling their story. Ronnie Defoe is the one that done away with his family. But yeah, family after that, yeah, was the Lutz family. That's right. The Lutz it was, the Lutz.
Yeah. Well, you'll be able to buy my cards, guys, once they're made, and that, like, give me a chance to make them and stuff like
Yeah.
that. It takes a lot of preparation because it's not like I'm just writing the stuff down. I'm actually channeling and talking to
Oh
their
yeah, you've got
energies
to get
and
it
getting
right.
exactly what
Yeah.
they're about and what they're into. You know what I mean? It's not coming through me taking knowledge from other things and that.
You probably
I
have to
work
go
with
down to the
energies.
witch.
I'll use their knowledge.
You'll have to probably go down to the fairy realm and things as well and figure out what ones want to be on the cards and things. It'll be a good journey to see what fairies will say. I want to be on the cards and figure out their little personalities.
Well, a lot of them communicate with me because I do my meditation and stuff with them
Yeah.
and stuff like that. So I've spoke to, like, obviously, like Clara and Primrose and that, and they're all right with it. And I've got a few others that are on there that I already know they're
Yeah,
okay with it.
good energy.
They've been giving me their names. I think I've probably got a list. I've got a list of about 40, 50 different fairies, males and females at the minute. But
Good.
and I've got to
You want
channel
to
every
try
single one of them to get that
the minute
information.
you think
I don't want to be. I don't want to be like these other card readers where they write down what they think they know. My cards are going to be from them. You know what I mean? So
yeah,
when you read it, it's not going to be as if I've wrote it. It's going to be me writing it from their point of
from
view.
them.
That is what I'm
Yeah.
doing. Because what I've got this special file on my laptop, right, that I've just been told about recently. And what I do is I put the music on and I channel and stuff, and you record and it writes everything you're saying out on this sheet. So I've just been writing everything to do with it, just speaking it out loud, and it's writing it all on the screen. So it's their words at that time. Like, I represent this
Cool.
and I do this and I can help you with
You
this and
just
I
have to
can do
copy
this
and
for you.
paste it. Yeah.
So it's going to
That'll be
be,
good.
it's them. When you read the cards, you'll know that was them. That wasn't me. That was them channeling and me just saying what they
Want to
want me to
put
say,
in the
that's
card.
speaking through me to talk to you. So when you read them, you'll be like, oh my God, because it doesn't say Primrose the fairy. It's, I am Primrose. I am
Right.
this.
Yeah.
I can do this for you, because it's her talking to you. It's not
Yeah.
me talking to you.
It's for her
So
perspective.
it's different.
That'll be good.
They are going to be beautiful, yeah.
Yeah,
Yes.
they will.
Well, it's good because I've got the app, because I said, how can I do this? How can I channel and write it down? Because I wouldn't be fully aware of it, but I can
Uh-huh.
speak perfectly fine. So it was brother Mike said, why don't you get this app thing? And then Rudy showed me how to do it properly. So it's on one of the Google things, and you just press it, and it's called record and type or something like that. And all you do
Yeah,
is you press the record thing, you sit there, and you just speak what comes
and
out,
it takes it all down. That'll be
and it
cool.
writes it all down, and then you
Well,
can
it's like a
save it.
dictation thing,
You can
right?
save
Yeah.
it into a PDF file, which is what I've been doing.
Right.
I've been saving them into PDF files, and
That'll be good, yeah.
yeah, yeah. So it's going to be beautiful, and I'm going to do the same with the dragons as well. Like I'll just channel them. I'll channel them, and
Yeah,
they speak through me, and you will have
exactly.
what they directly do and help how they
I'm
can
telling you,
directly help you.
it'll be
They've
cool.
added a bit on there because there's actually they've added the chants that you can do to chant to them to get them to come to you, and they've also added the offerings and things that they like you to put out to be able to communicate with them. Right, they put this all into it, so
You
it's
need
like
cards about
perfect.
this size. These
Well,
size of
no,
cards
because
are the size of her head.
I'm gonna have the cards. I'm gonna have the cards with just the picture and her name or
Yeah,
his
you could
name and
probably
just
get
a
away
little
with
bit
that
of.
size.
I'm gonna have a book. There's gonna be a
Yeah,
book with
yeah,
all
you
of the
need the book.
information in it. You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
you need
But
the book to go with it. There'll be a lot of information like the shaman
there's,
cards and the
you know,
druid
I
card.
already know what they look like, and I already know like what I would like them to represent because I see them all the time. So that side of it is not the problem. It is the information and what they're into and what they do that I
I can just
want them to get
imagine
across.
Kim. They can be very, very bossy. Put this down, put this down, put that down. She'll need to size the cards of her head. Size of her heads.
Yesterday, there must have been about 5 times I said something, and because the computer didn't write that one word properly, she was going nuts. And she's like, "That's not how you say it." And it's just like, "Hang on a minute, I'm bloody trying to sort it out." So yeah, it's fun though. They're so excited about it because it's gonna like me. It's gonna be the first tarot cards where it's physically them speaking to
Yeah,
you
that'll be
because
good.
it's their words. It wasn't done by me writing it. I've spoke their words, and there it is. It tells
And
you
they've
everything and
dictated
what they're associated to, what they're into, what they want to do, all this sort of stuff. You know what I mean? Like so, it's crazy.
It'll be interesting, guys.
Whoa, they want to make sure you're thorough. Oh, they always do. They're very
Yeah,
particular. They're fey. They like things to be right or don't do it at all.
that's what
Like
they'll
sort of
do.
thing.
You don't get away with
Right. Welcome to the fairy world.
it.
But you'll love them, guys, and you'll see why they're being the way they're being. Because when you read them, you'll be like, "Wow, that ain't like any other oracle I've ever read before." Because it's directly their wording. It's what they talk to you about, what they
Yeah,
do, and they're for what their favourite season's about, and how it makes them feel, and all sorts of things. They talk about loads of stuff.
good stuff.
Right, what I'm going to do anyway, Angels, because I'm not going to give you too much more details about it, because as you're all going to be sitting here like jumping on the spot, and it's not even wrote yet.
Yeah,
What I'm going to do is I'm going to come off the show, but I hope that you did enjoy the show. If there is anything you're interested in me and Sister Drew doing, please write under this video or get hold of us on Messenger and tell us about some of the ideas and things that you're thinking about us talking about. I know somebody said earlier about talking about dragons. Somebody else said about something else.
would you like to hear more
There's a few
witchy
things. I'll go
stories?
back over the chat. You know what I mean? We'll do some more witchy stuff and
Yeah,
stories and stuff like that, definitely. So just get just remember this show's about you guys, and we want to bring you education of things that you're going to be interested in. We don't want to just do
yeah.
education. We want to have streams where we can have a bit of fun.
Just let us know.
You know, if you want to come on for interviews or anything as well, guys, you've only got to reach out to us, and we'll to tune in to Sister Drew tomorrow at
Yes.
11 p.m. UK time for
Divination Tuesdays.
Tuesday.
Get your questions ready for Spirit, guys.
Keep an eye out for Sister Chrissy and brother Chris and Mark
They've
and
gone
all of
on
those that
tonight.
have got their shows over the week as well, guys. Keep an eye out for all of us, and
Yeah.
definitely just keep an eye. Oh, And I'm going to be doing a meditation stream this week as well. So keep an eye out for that. That'll be sometime in the end of the week. So keep an eye out for that. And that's all I can say. Is just thank you for coming in here, Angel. Thank you for supporting me. Lots of love, light, and blessings to you all. And I hope that you have enjoyed the show. And I'll see you again next Monday. Sister Drew, anything you want to say to the lovelies?
Just I'll see you all tomorrow night, guys. Remember, get your questions ready for Spirit that you want to ask. And bring a friend. Thank you. Bye.
And don't forget to hit that like and those support buttons, guys, for all of us. And we'll see you tomorrow on Sister Drew's show. So until then, lots of love, light, and blessings, and a merry parting to you all.
Bye, guys.
And we're just going to do the outro out and give you guys the time to say bye. Love and blessings.
Bye, guys.